we didn't put like a ton of thought into what we should sound like we want to be X, Y, and Z. We literally just got together in a basement and started playing music that we liked, and we're like, well, maybe we could write our own, instead of playing other people's music. So our sound came around really kind of organically. We weren't trying to figure out what we wanted to do, and we just ended up a hard rock band.
Wake up the zombie! You started forgetting.
John Cooper, that's a crazy story. I feel really blessed to be able to call him one of my close friends.
We were on the road and there was this guy driving. He was a runner driving us to some restaurant. He's like, "Hey, I work with a band. I got to show you." And we were like, "Oh, here we go." So he gives us the EP, and I was like, "This is going to be so bad." And I just decided, I'm going to listen to this. I don't know. I'm just curious. I want to see how bad this thing really is. And track one, I loved it. I showed it to my wife. I was like, am I wrong or is this really cool? I listened to the whole thing. I loved it. I called my manager.
And he got a hold of his manager, Zach Kelman. He's like, I think you should work with these guys. And Zach's like, I'll do it if you do it with me. And so they got a hold of me. And I was living in Idaho at the time and said we would like to work with you.
You know what I loved about it? I fell in love with Justin's voice. It's so growly and passionate, and I really liked that. And I love the lyrics, that they felt kind of dark but uplifting at the same time, which is what I'm a big fan of.
But isn't it beautiful, the way we fall apart? It's magical and
if you look at the lyrics in We As Human songs, a lot of times they're word for word scripture. Because I'm like, if scripture is what saves people, if scripture is what heals people, then I want to take as much of that good stuff and stuff it into a song as I can, But doing that in an artistic way, in a palatable way, is really the challenge. And it's always a great feeling when we actually accomplish that.
oh, isn't it wonderful, the way we fall apart?
There's a time to be born, and there's a time to die, and there's a time to weep and mourn. There's a time to rejoice and be happy. It seems like we live in this tension between joy and sorrow. Proverbs says that a sad face is good for the soul, So I think that what I wanted to do with We Fall Apart was just show from a biblical aspect that sorrow is very much a part of life, just as much a part of life as joy. And that they are not inherently good or bad things, that it's just all a part of the human experience. And God takes all of that broken, shattered, bleeding mess that we call our lives, and he looks at it and he says, that's worth something to me.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up the zombie! So long over me.
And they've got such a great heart for ministry. Talking to the guys, you never know what you're going to get with a hard rock band, what they're going to be like. And I just think the band is very serious about sharing their faith in their music and very not ashamed. And I love that. So I'm a big believer.
I think of the scripture, 1 Corinthians 10:31, where it says, whether you eat or drink or whatever you do it all to the glory of God. So whether we're playing in a general market festival or we're on a Christian tour, it comes from the same place inside of us. It's not like we're doing one thing one day and then we've got to flip a switch and be like, oh, that's right, we're in a church today. That's not how we live our lives, and that's not how we want to live our lives. That's where we want to go with our career. That's where we want to go with our lives, that no matter where we are or what we're doing, that God gets the glory.